Hello and welcome back, my fabulous fourth graders. I'm so excited to continue with Westward Expansion, Lesson 3 today. Today we're going to learn about how this new Western land was explored and documented. I put that new in quotation marks because obviously this land didn't just come from out of nowhere, but this land hadn't been discovered by people that were in those colonies yet. So I'm going to call this the new land, and we're going to be successful when we can describe who helped explore the land and their purpose of exploring. The vocabulary that we're going to cover today includes expedition, which is a journey taken for a reason, and dictated, which means said or read aloud for someone to write down. Now, dictated has a great prefix in it, and we know prefixes at the beginning of a word. The DICT, when it is at a beginning of a word, is to say or write. So you see dict, and I also think of dictionary. Okay, so dict can help you know that that's what that is going to mean. Chapter 3, Exploring the West. Explorers, scouts, and hunters helped blaze trails through the new territories of the United States. Two of the most well-known explorers were Army captains Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. They were hired by President Thomas Jefferson to explore the land gained in the Louisiana Purchase beyond the Mississippi River. Lewis and Clark kept journals of their travel. They also created maps of their route that made it possible for others who came after them to find their way west. And here it says Lewis and Clark's trip took more than 2 years. And it says during Lewis, who's on the left, and Clark's journey through Louisiana, they were helped by, and everyone's going to pronounce this name different. I've heard it 2 different ways. I say Sacagawea. Some people also pronounce it Sacagawea. Here in the book, it's Sacagawea. So that's how I pronounce it too. A Native American woman. So Sacagawea. On their journey, Lewis and Clark met a Native American woman named Sacagawea. Sacagawea and her husband joined the expedition, there's our vocab word, and helped Lewis and Clark communicate with Native American people. Sacagawea's presence let other Native people know that Lewis and Clark and their men were friendly. When one of the group's canoes turned over, Sacagawea rescued valuable journals and supplies from the water. Mountain men. Fur trappers known as mountain men also ventured into the West in search of valuable beaver fur. As these men hunted for beavers, they discovered new and better routes through the West. Along the way, they faced many dangers, such as starvation and grizzly bear attacks. Sometimes, Native Americans helped them. Mountain men copied Native American clothing, tools, and ways of making food and medicine so they could survive. Right here, it tells us mountain men were able to find their way through the wilderness without accurate maps. And here, Davy Crockett was one of the best known mountain men. I'm sure you've heard of him before. Question 1 in your journal, where you're going to want to pause, is why could traveling this land be dangerous to explorers? So your answers come from these 2 pages. So go ahead and pause the video and write that question down. Make sure you answer it. Why could traveling this land be dangerous to explorers? When you're finished with that question, we're moving on to these 2 pages. James Beckwourth. James Beckwourth was an African-American mountain man who worked as a fur trapper, guide, and soldier. In 1824, he went on his first fur trading expedition to the Rocky Mountains. In about 1850, he discovered what would be called Beckwourth Pass. This pathway through the Sierra Nevada mountain range made travel into California much easier. Thousands of settlers used the pass, especially during the California gold rush of the 1840s and the 1850s. The U.S. Postal Service issued a postage stamp to honor James Beckwourth in 1994. So finding that path has to be so easy compared to going through a bunch of mountain ranges and everything else. Words of the West. Jessie Benton Fremont was the wife of explorer John C. Fremont. John dictated So remember, that's what speaking is. Notes about his Western expeditions to Jessie. So he would tell her what's happening, and she wrote reports that were published in magazines and books. Jessie's reports described the West in a very lively and interesting way. Her writing made the West sound so exciting that many people were inspired to move there. Thousands of people read Jessie Benton Fremont's writings. So there is a picture of both of them. And your other journal question for today is compare and contrast James Beckwourth and Jessie Benton Fremont. How are they alike? How are they different? You may use a Venn diagram to help you. So if that helps you understand, say how they're different and how they're together, remember to make sure it has both parts. So I'm going to go back to that page. Here you guys go. You're going to want to pause here after you've answered that question to know how are they the same and how are they different. Thanks, you guys. This is all we have for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, weekend after tomorrow. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you.